Have you ever heard the term basketball IQ? It refers to how well somebody understands the game of basketball. People like to talk about LeBron and his high basketball IQ and how he understands the game so well, and that might be true. I'm not saying that LeBron doesn't have a high basketball IQ. I'm just saying that with his strength and athleticism and talent, of course he's good at basketball. Everything he does looks like the right basketball play because whether it was or not, the shot usually goes in. And I'm not trying to put down LeBron James. But what's more impressive to me is when a guy isn't as big and strong, athletic, and talented, but somehow they find a way to still make the right basketball play and they can still make it to the NBA and succeed and do well in the NBA because of their high basketball IQ. Someone that comes to mind for me is Tyus Jones. Now you can say whatever you want about Tyus Jones and his limitations, but for him not being as tall as some guys, for not being as athletic as some people. Maybe he can't shoot as well as some people, but he has a really high basketball IQ. And that's why as a freshman, he led Duke to the national championship and was the MVP of the Final Four because he has such a high basketball IQ. He understands the game of basketball. He makes the right basketball play. He knows who to pass to. He knows how to get guys open. He knows one of the things that he did it actually in the national championship, and he did it again in the game we were at in Oklahoma City, but a smart basketball play when you're falling out of bounds and you can throw the ball off of somebody else, right? That's high basketball IQ. And the thing about basketball IQ is you don't necessarily have to be a smart person to have a high basketball IQ. You don't have to have a certain GPA. Most of us have the wrong view of intelligence. Society, I feel like, tells us either you are smart or you're not. But what basketball IQ shows me is that people are gifted in different areas. You might not be smart at math or smart at reading, but maybe you're really good at basketball and maybe you understand basketball and that makes sense to you. I know people who didn't do well in school, can't spell, can't write very well, but when they get into a car, they can take apart an engine, put it back together without even thinking. Like that's their element. They understand that, they get that. I believe that all of us have intelligence in certain areas. What is your element? What is it that you get? What makes sense to you? It might not be school. Not saying that you need to just forget about school and not worry about school. Work hard, get good grades. There's something about, working and developing your weaknesses. But what I'm saying is find what you're good at. Because you're good at something and you understand something. Something makes sense to you. Maybe it is writing. Maybe it is math. Maybe it's music. Maybe it's making movies. Maybe it is working on cars. Maybe it's being an electrician or a plumber. There's things that just your brain understands how that works. Albert Einstein is credited for a quote saying that if you judge a fish by his ability to climb a tree, he would go his entire life thinking he was stupid. And that's what we do as a society. We tell people this is what it means to be intelligent, and if you aren't good in these areas, then you're dumb, then you're not intelligent. And that's not the case at all. So what I want to do is I want to challenge you to find your element. Find what makes sense to you. If you're gifted in an area and it makes sense to you, that's because God made you that way. God made us all unique to have different giftings and different things that make sense to certain people. What is your element? And I want you to pursue that. I want you to put effort into becoming better in that element and finding ways to use that element for God's glory. To use that element not just to earn a paycheck, although that's good too, but how to use that, what you're gifted in, to reach people for the kingdom of God. When I was in school, I grew up thinking that I had a level of intelligence, but I wasn't really gifted. I wasn't very good at sports. I definitely wasn't good at music. My grades were okay, but it's because I put forth enough effort to get decent grades, but it wasn't like it came easy to me, right? School didn't come easy to me. I thought I was a terrible writer because when I was in school, it was all academic writing, research papers, and I was terrible at that. But then when I got to college, I got to one of my major classes and it was journalism writing. And my first paper I turned in, and my professor was like, "You're really good at this." And I almost thought she was joking because I was like, I'm not a good writer. I've never been good at writing. But she said, in this element, in this style of writing, you're good at this. It made me look at everything differently. You don't have to be good in everything. You have to be good at what God created you to do. So find your element, find what makes sense for you, and pursue that because that's what God created you to do.